Proteins are important workhorses of the cell. Many Canadians don't realize the importance that proteins play in their everyday lives. Protein products are used in cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, the food industry, and in the medical industry.
M-Factorial Biomachines manufactures bioreactors and fermenters. Typically, our customers use these bioreactors to manufacture alternative proteins. Our control tower of our systems has over 100 components from Siemens. I consider Siemens a trustworthy partner with whom we can synergize towards any collaboration.
Technology like this helps enable us to produce those types of products that are safer, more environmentally friendly, and better for end users.
That definitely is a true example how we transform everybody's lives for the everyday. So we're talking about the global food system now. Mega challenges definitely for here as well with the rising demand, resource issues and climate change. Biomanufacturing, especially alternative proteins, can help to address these problems. And the company, which success story we are showcasing here, is the Cultivated B. It's N-Factorial Biomachines, explicitly, whom we have here to talk about the success. So please help me in welcoming with a big round of applause, and I'm pretty sure from the Canadian corner this will be done. But what about the rest of the booth here? So give a big round of applause to Hamid Noori and Joris Myny. Woo! Hamid,
hey,
great having you here. Joris, wonderful. So take a seat on the sofa of wisdom. This is the living room of Industry 4.0, that's how we call it. I can tell you, making yourself comfortable here, this is your playground. Hamid, I'm doing a quick introduction round that everybody knows the who's who of the technology what we will be talking about. We got Dr. Hamid Noori. He's the founder and CEO of the Cultivated B. His mission is, and I put that down in my homework, pioneering technology for all. We bring science fiction to the daily life. This is what you said. And why am I mentioning science fiction? Because the gentleman next to him, this is the Senior Vice President of DI, Digital Industries, Siemens in Canada, Joris Myny. He said he fell in love with the beauty of the machine, which is a bioreactor. It is a very aesthetic machine, and to me it looks like a Star Wars cockpit. Now, if you're wondering now what this is the beauty machine. All right. Now, in regards of the Cultivated B, Hamid, and the N-Factorial Biomachines, which is the company, I still have not really got the who's who, which company is where, but you're going to explain that here. Your website says, cutting-edge biotechnology for scalable and sustainable protein production. Now, the question is, what is the role of proteins outside the obvious?
Well, when you think about it, typically we associate with proteins essentially the final organ product, namely the meat or dairy products, etc., that we use. The goal of our company has not been to replicate basically what nature anyways provides, but we are seeing a world that is exposed to climate change. Resources are getting rarer and more expensive, and general food manufacturers do have the problem slowly that their supply chain is not guaranteed and the prices are increasing because of that. We see very high cost of living in Canada and also increased cost of living in Germany as a consequence of resource rarity and difficulties in trade as well, that probably today in a couple of hours is going to get worse. Looking at it from that perspective, you need alternative ways to gain the same proteins that would give texture, aroma, structure to the food, so that you can, at an affordable level, that's the most important thing, so that actually people can buy still the goods at an affordable level too. This is where our business and our alternative industry perspective comes into the play.
Now, we do have proteins which are very in fashion now. I mean, it's not just for those who are very sporty, but it's super healthy. But it's also in other elements where protein is needed,
Yes.
right?
So, some very simple examples. Maybe I start with the easiest one that comes to my mind. That's collagen or gelatin, right? Gelatin you can find in yogurt. Gelatin you can find in pet food. You can find it in different types of products. And it is even in the shelf of the capsules of the drugs that you normally take. And it has a very volatile market and constantly increasing price. And normally gelatin is also gained by boiling up skin and bones of animals, something that at least the younger generation has a problem consuming easily. So what we can do and what we have provided to some of our customers using these kind of machines that we manufacture is essentially using yeast or bacteria as machines to make these bovine collagen. So essentially we make a microorganism move for a while and get what we need out of it.
So that's the alternative ways of manufacturing protein.
Correct.
Still in the same quality as it's needed, especially in the pharma or chemical industry. They definitely always want to have that at the same level.
Even the food manufacturing has that requirement. When you buy processed food, you have always experienced the same quality, the same taste, the same texture. We just take it for granted, right? But it is actually there. And having something that consistently tastes the same way, has the same bite. For instance, we have all witnessed a major rise in the vegan products in the market. Now, unfortunately, plants often do not provide the necessary structure and features of animal proteins. So how can we enrich that experience? And this is one of those ways, right? Still, you need the consistency, almost the same level as chemical or pharmaceutical industry does.
Very well explained, and now Joris comes into the game, because this is definitely a challenge with a high demanding customer to assure the processes. So to what extent is all that what Hamid mentioned relevant to Siemens?
Yeah, I was very excited when my sales team thought about the initial interaction with the Cultivated B, because this technology really has the potential to become a game changer on the sustainability front. The second reason, the Cultivated B chose Canada to build its machines. Now, it's one of the best kept secrets. Canada has a very strong machine building culture with very strong engineers. So that was, I said, hey, we have a chance to show the capabilities of Canada. And the third thing was what you will see on the booth, and I think you might have a camera there, who knows?
Well, the thing is, we got the even better picture here. If you want the camera, we're going to send it there. We can do that, definitely.
Excellent. So this is a lab model with a bioreactor of 2 liters. The challenge is, how can you scale this? And this is what the Cultivated B will do with our help. So I saw in this a challenge, yeah?
Definitely. I mean, Hamid has a clear vision of what he wants to have and what he needs to have in regards of fulfilling the requirements. So in the field of bioreactors, which are typically used in the pharmaceutical industry, as we talked about in applications, what makes the TCB, the Cultivated B bioreactors, different to others? And which challenges did you face when transforming this technology, what you explained?
Well, this machine that you see here is the iPhone to BlackBerry. As simple as I can phrase it. It is the easiest bioreactor to work with on the market. And there was a logic behind it. When you, as you rightfully said, bioreactors have been in use in pharmaceutical industry for the past 50 years. Pharmaceutical industries have a very different group of employees working for them. Food manufacturing does not have those groups of people working on their factory floor. So you need to break down the technology to a level that there is barely any difference in operating a bioreactor with a sausage cutting machine, as simple as I can say. Now, what we did was we developed a very simple human-machine interface. This human-machine interface has some unique features, including that there are recipes integrated in them. Recipes are essentially automation scripts that we integrated. So even if you don't ever or has never worked with a bioreactor, actually we see the interface of the recipes,
Yes.
right? Even if you have never seen a bioreactor and you want to run, for instance, some fish cells in the system, you just need to press one time start and one time confirm that you wanted to start. So you don't even need to understand how the process goes. It is already integrated within it. And what we believe is that this is going to increase the usefulness. And you mentioned pioneering technology for all. It wouldn't be for all if you limit the use of the reactor and the technology to a handful few who have a doctorate in bioprocess engineering. So this was the main achievement that we brought into it. The reactors have every need that you have also in the pharmaceutical industry, and we provide them to those as customers as well. But they have actually this unique feature that makes them very fit for purpose for food ingredient manufacturing as well.
So what role did Siemens play in regards of transforming bioreactor technology into something anyone can use? Maybe
Joris.
Let's have Joris start
no,
first.
you can answer too. I would like to hear.
No, you for sure have points on that. I'm interested, but Joris, in regards of the Siemens
Up till now, we
perspective.
have provided the technology. So what you see is the Siemens HM2025 panel, the slick-looking panel, which basically makes the machine look like a coffee machine, as easy as a coffee machine. An American coffee machine, because these Italian coffee machines can be sometimes a bit too complicated. American coffee machine. And inside is a powerful Siematic S7 1200 PLC with lots of I/Os. I think in total there are about 100 components of Siemens in this machine.
I compared it to a modern cooking machine, like the Porsche of cooking machines, because it's, as you showed before on the display, you just pick which elements you have in there, which type of protein shall be created. So I was fascinated when we ran through the program there. Fish, crabs, pork kind, everything's there. So what's inside the machine? Now, going in detail. We're not going to open the machine here.
Yes.
We mentioned 100 bits and pieces.
Yeah.
You want to go?
What in the end matters is the outcome. It was very simple for the engineers of TCB to engineer it, but most importantly, it is an unbelievable easy machine to use. So the multi-panel makes it actually very user-friendly. It has that look and feel. It's like a web-based look. And that is what is very important. Because you don't need a PhD person to operate the machine.
Okay, so there we are, because that's one of the challenges as well. Skilled workers, that's a tough one in any business. So also here, I think it's quite hard. And if you have a logical display where you just need to push the buttons and it's running as you need it, definitely good. So what do you consider as the key success moving forward, Hamid? You have come so far here.
Well, we want to have a significant chunk of the market with our systems. Just recently, there was a market report, evaluating the benchtop. This is the benchtop level of reactors. And we were very honored to be among the top 7 ones already in the world, although we have started manufacturing only 2 years ago. So that's a point of pride that we take into this. And being among the top 7 is great, but being number 1 is better.
Wonderful, and that brings me up to scaling, Joris. That's, I think, one of the key topics here.
So the challenge for the future is to help TCB to scale, and by providing the tools that will help TCB to explain to their customers what it takes to get a certain yield. Mm-hmm. So what installation do I need for, let's say, 1,000 liters instead of the 2 liters bioreactor? What is the capital investment? What is the amount of raw material I will need? And what is the productivity of the machine? What can I get as yield? So there is tools for that. We have that tools in our basket. And that is our next challenge to, in a collaborative way, develop that so it makes it easier for TCB to scale and to explain this to their customer.
Now, we touched upon the challenges or the high demands of your customers in regards of challenges. How do you see that you cater for this, the challenges for the future?
Well, there are various challenges that we haven't discussed, and these go also together with the scalability. Food manufacturing, in contrast to pharma, does not have very large margins. So we typically are talking 5 to 10% maximum. Now, when you're talking about very little margins, every penny that they invest into new equipment must have a very logical return on invest accompanied with it. When a dairy manufacturer or a, let's say, sweets or otherwise food manufacturer is interested in not buying a plant from us that, as Joris said, doesn't have the simple benchtop ones, but 10,000, 20,000, 100 liters reactors, we are talking about tens of millions of investment at once. And the biggest challenge there is, am I going to see a return on invest? And when I see that, when? And the approach that we are now taking with Siemens is that we are going to digitally simulate that entire environment so that before you purchase, you have a great feeling of how is it going to look like, what infrastructure do I need, and how much is it going to cost me before it makes the first revenue for me. So and this is the key factor that, and I see that's as the biggest challenge to take this to the next level for the food industry. It's differently conservative than pharma.
Very interesting and very challenging. Now, Joris, question to you. How do you aim to leverage the predictive models?
By providing those tools that help simulate and will help TCB's customers to validate that what they want to buy is actually delivering the outcome. So that is, and our success, we will be successful when TCB is successful. It's easy.
For the moment, I definitely have the vision that you are successful with what you have achieved. So what is the next plan in regards of, is it bigger bioreactors? Is it smaller ones maybe? Because for smaller labs all over the globe?
Well, smaller lab doesn't necessarily need a smaller reactor.
True.
But we have already larger reactors in our portfolio. And the goal is, in fact, if you ask me where TCB is in 5 years, you will see in Germany and hopefully in the rest of European countries, you will see plants, factories that are using our bioreactors to generate their alternative proteins that they then, in a very natural way, feed into their normal product manufacture.
How do you get all these visionary thoughts? Where do you get your inspiration, Hamid, in order to be so creative?
I'm often bored.
No, definitely not. He's a very sporty man. We had our prep calls and Hamid was on the treadmill. So you definitely are fit in shape. You're very healthy. You're thinking of healthy food for your customers as well. It's just this visionary approach in regards of what's possible and how can we improve.
Well, there are various things. So we are a relatively young company, but we have people that help me also strategically think. We have one of them today in the audience, Dr. Wolfgang Kühnel, who, as a matter of fact, comes from the food manufacturing and can quite easily explain to you, what are the challenges and what can be done and what cannot be done. But at the same time, we genuinely believe that we can only be successful through innovation, right? And innovation is something that you cannot just sit and wait until it comes. You need to actively work towards it. You need to actively challenge everything that you assumed until that moment and question again whether all your assumptions are still correct. So it's not necessarily a personal skill. It is just the attitude of the entire company to not accept that we are good yet.
But you want to become better.
We always want to be a better version of ourselves the next day.
Wonderful. So let's see where we see this beauty of a spaceship at the booth. Let's drop the booth layout, please, on the screen, because this is where you can find you. I don't know how much longer will you be at the fair, Hamid?
I'm still a couple of hours here.
A couple of hours. And Joris, what about you?
Till Friday morning.
Okay, so this is the gentleman to talk to if you need more information on Thursday. Hamid will be here until the rest of the day. So thank you so much, really, for informing us, for talking about this great project, and for sure, Joris is always a good catch in regards of being creative, having demanding customers, and finding the right solution for them.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank
you so much.